Mr. Harmless here, and we're working on similar polygons. And let's start with filling in our blanks here for these answers. Identifying similar polygons. Similar polygons have the same shape, but not necessarily the same size. Okay. So if polygons are similar, and we have this symbol right here, do you see this little squiggly line right there? That's the symbol for similar. And it means that this triangle ABC, this one right here, is similar to triangle XYZ. So these triangles are the same shape, but not the same size. In this example, it says list all pairs of congruent angles. And you may remember from the last lesson that I talked about this a little bit, that similar shapes have congruent angles, but the sides are proportional. So there's two things we're going to have to do, and you're going to have test questions that do this exact same thing. It's going to ask you for this exact same thing. It wants you to list off all the angles that are congruent and then all the sides that are proportional. Now here's the thing. The way the name is given here is the important part. ABC is similar to XYZ. ABC is not similar to ZYX. It's similar to XYZ. So the order of these letters is telling me which angles are actually going to be congruent. Notice the first letter that I use in naming this triangle, ABC, is A. So angle A is going to be congruent to, in the first letter that's over here, angle X. So angle A is congruent to, that's our congruent symbol, angle X. Next we have B and Y. That's the second angle that's mentioned. This is the second angle that's mentioned. So angle B is going to be congruent to angle Y. Third, we've got this C is the last letter that's mentioned. Z is the last letter that's mentioned. So C is going to be congruent to Z. So angle C congruent to angle Z. Now, the nice thing about this is even if you didn't have the diagram, you could figure out what angles are congruent just by looking at the name. So that's one thing we have to do. The second thing that we have to do is write the proportion. Okay, so since there's three sides, I'm going to set myself up with three ratios here. Okay, and in the numerator of this, I'm going to put triangle ABC, and in the denominator, I'm going to put triangle sides from triangle XYZ. Okay, so triangle ABC sides are going to go up here. Triangle XYZ sides are going to go down there. So notice again, the order of this is important. So AB, first two letters that are mentioned, this side AB is going to be matched up with the side XY. So I'm going to go AB and XY. Notice the second two letters, BC, second two letters, YZ. BC, YZ. Then to get the third side, you're actually, if you have the shape, you can see it a little bit easier. AB, BC, it'd be this third side, CA or AC, either way you want to say it. But it's the last letter and the first letter that we're talking about. Same thing here. So I could go AC and XZ if I wanted to. AC and XZ. So this question is all it's asking for is list the pairs of angles that are congruent. We did that. Write a proportion that relates to the corresponding sides, and we did that. Okay, so that's the first example. Let's go ahead and do the second example as part of this lesson. Determine whether the pair of figures is similar. If so, write the similarity statement and the scale factor. All right, so if it's similar, the angles are going to be congruent and the sides will be proportional. Okay, all right, so let's see. I've got W is congruent to P. It's got one arc, two arcs, Z to S, Y to R, and X to Q. So we have all four angles are congruent. So we've got that part. Now let's see if the sides are proportional. 9 is paired up with this 6 right here. Fortunately, they're facing the same direction. 15 to the 10. Now, if they weren't sitting the same way, you could look at the angles, right? Notice this 1, 2, there's 3 arcs here, there's 4 arcs there. So the one between the 3 and the 4 would be this one, right? So the 18 with the 12. And then the last one here, the 8, the 12 and the 8. All right, so if this is truly going to be, and I'm thinking because all the angles are congruent, probably going to work out, but just in case, let's try it out. Okay, and I could divide each one of these to see what decimal I get, or I could just simplify each one of these. So I'm going to simplify because I can do that easier without a calculator. So 3 goes into both of these, 3 halves. 5 goes into both of these. 6 goes into both of these. And let's see here, what goes in both these? 4. All right, so they all simplify down to the same thing. So the sides are proportional. The angles are all congruent. So yes, is it similar? Yes, this is similar. Write the similarity statement. So this shape, W, Z, Y, X is similar to P, S, R, Q. And notice again, the order of the letters is important. So I put this W, since it has one arc, I match it up with the P. Z is second, S second, right? See that? Y is the third one I mentioned, R, third one I mentioned, and then X is last and Q is last. So that's the answer to this second example. All right. I'd like you to go ahead and try some exercises. Try those on your own, see how you do. In the next video, you'll be able to see if you did them correctly or not.